besties. Okay, so yeah, I started talking yesterday about a lot of stuff. If you didn't watch that video, I was talking about like being gay, like how I realized I was gay because I watched Nikki Christine, the interventionalist's video during Lesbian Visibility Week about how she realized she was gay despite missing the signs. Oh gosh, I got lipstick on my mug. So yeah, I wanted to talk about the same thing because like watching her video, I just felt like, oh my god, I relate to all this, and I just wanted to talk about it. So I left her a really long comment, but I'm like, I'm gonna just start making my own videos. So yeah, I started talking about like a little bit how I realized that I was gay, but I think I want to talk about today, there was some stuff that I started talking about that I didn't really like finish, specifically like towards the idea that like how I realized I didn't like boys, I guess, like, because I did have like crushes on boys, and then like after reading the Am I a Lesbian Master Doc, it was like really helpful, like realizing those weren't really crushes. But yeah, so I brought up Darren Chris, and then I was gonna talk about like how I used to see pictures, like people would reblog pictures of him on Tumblr, and like I remember one person put in the tags, they're like, I want to lick his abs, and I remember reading that and being like, that's interesting. I don't have that same desire. So what does that mean? Is this person like, I don't want to be like, are they weird for liking it, or am I weird for not wanting to? Are they weird for wanting to do that, or am I weird for not wanting to do that? I was like, I think probably both. It was probably both and situation. It's probably weird to like post that on the internet where like anyone could see it, I guess, but like anyway, it helped me. It helped me a lot. I was like, I don't want to lick his abs. What's up with that? And then there was somebody else that I followed who like I remember she posted like, now that I have a boyfriend and like I've been kissing more, I see like what people mean when they say that, like specifically Darren Chris has kissable lips, but like when someone has kissable lips, someone says kissable lips, like she knows what that means now, and she like sees why people think Darren Chris has kissable lips. I was like, oh my god, like I just like, well, I never kissed anyone, so, well, not never, but like that one kiss in 5th grade that I talked about yesterday didn't really count to me, at least, because like, I don't know, it was just like one kiss, and then like she moved, and then like I gave her my phone number, so like she never called me, and then so I was sad about it, so I never really thought about it. I kind of forgot about it, and then like it didn't count to me. So yeah, okay. There was also, there were like a couple boys that I liked around the time, I think it was like when my grandma died. Like I would just fantasize about like talking to them at school and telling them like what was going on in my life. And I noticed like, okay, so there was one boy in middle school who like, my friend was dating his friend, and then like we would kind of all hang out together. Let's see if that notification goes away. Let's see, so the 4 of us would hang out, okay. Yeah, we'd spend time together, and then like because our friends were dating, and then his friend, like my friend's boyfriend, asked me like, do you like him? And I was like, no, why? And then he was like, oh, just wondering. And then I saw him like go back to his friends, and like there were like 3 of them there, and like I'm sure he was like, oh, she said no. And then I was like, did he want this guy to ask me if I liked him? Does he like me? Is that why he asked? And then so like I started like mentally having this like crush on him, even though it wasn't like from being attracted to him, obviously. It wasn't from like spending time with him, obviously. It was like only because I thought like, oh, I think he might like me. And then I started like becoming like obsessed with him, kind of. And then my friend and her boyfriend eventually broke up, and she started dating that guy. So that was interesting. But yeah, because I just said I didn't like him, and so like nothing ended up happening. But I would imagine like telling him like, oh, my grandma died, and then he's like there and like comforting me and stuff, and like eventually like the same thing would happen, but it would be like a different face, and I like recognized that like pretty young. And like in high school it was like this guy I mean like freshman year of high school, it was, yeah, there's this guy who was a senior, and so like that's kind of like an unavailable in a way, like it's kind of a big age difference. But I had read a fan fiction. It wasn't fan fiction, it was like, but it was on a fan fiction website, I think. But it was called like I'm a freshman, he's a senior, and I thought it was really cute, and so I was like, that could be us. But like I never talked to him. That's like, I was just completely silent like in the class that we had together. It was kind of weird. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, this like imagine like fantasy that I had turned from like this one guy that I thought liked me to like another guy who like I think eventually afterwards we were talking on AIM and he said that he used to have a crush on me or something, and I was like, oh my god, but like he was like older, like he'd graduated already, and like I think he had a girlfriend, so like nothing happened there. But yeah, like this kind of stuff would just like keep happening where I would like find out a guy liked me, or like think that he might like me, and then just like develop this crush on him, and then it would like never go anywhere. But like my imagination would be like going wild, like I'd just be confessing all these things to him, and like these guys probably have no idea that like I was doing this. Yeah, it was kind of like weird, and I noticed like it's always the same thing, and it's just like their face changing. It's not like I don't think I actually like these guys. I don't think I actually like feel something for them. I think I just want like a boyfriend, and like it doesn't really matter, like he's just kind of like a placeholder until I find the one, you know, the right man for me. But still haven't done that yet, so we're waiting. But yeah, I keep going back and forth because like I've had really strong feelings for like 2 women since like realizing that I was gay. Like I probably had crushes during school and stuff, but I didn't like really accept it until like my 20s. So yeah, I keep going back, and like I even bought the bisexual yarn from Joanne one time because I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I have a crush on this boy. And then like I told him I had a crush on him, and he didn't say anything, and then it reminded me of this time in high school. Okay, this girl did definitely had a crush on me in high school. I don't know if I was aware of that, or like I think I dismissed it. I think people hinted that at me, and I was like, that's not a thing. But yeah, she would hug me for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes after school, and I remember like at first I kind of thought it was funny, but then I started getting really annoyed by it to the point where like I didn't want to like see her at all, because I was like, she's just gonna like hug me and then like cling on me and like not let me go. So I was like, I just like would try to avoid her in a way. But yeah, I remember we were walking and talking, and she said she liked somebody, and we're both in band. I played clarinet, she played flute, and then the person that the guy we're gonna talk about played saxophone. So we were walking, and she was like, oh, like I don't know how it came up, but like she had a crush on somebody, and I was like trying to guess who it was. I was like, are they in band? And she was like, yeah. And then I was like, what do they play? And she said woodwind, which like clarinet's a woodwind too. And so I was like, oh, it's probably like a saxophone player, because I had this as I mentioned yesterday in the video, my parents are both alcoholics, so there's a boy who was like adamant about not drinking, and I thought he was my soulmate. This is the boy that we're talking about. So yeah, I was going down like the saxophone like lineup, like from first chair. That's the best way I thought it would be to like, or the most efficient way to like guess her crush, I guess. I'm like, I'm just gonna go in order. So is it like first chair saxophone player? No. Is it second chair? I think he was second chair, so she's like, maybe. And then I was like, okay, it's obviously him. Moving on. And I was like, that can't be, because he's my soulmate. She can't have him. And so I kept guessing, and then she said no, 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 and I'm like, okay, so it's obviously second chair, right? Like, and then I was like, you should say something. You should tell him that you like him. And then like I don't know why that like logic that advice made sense for her, but like I would never. Like I knew that I liked him, but like I would never. I think because I knew like deep down that he didn't like me back, but like I still wanted to have this like fantasy of like someday, like later after high school, after college, like when we're adults, we'll get together, but like not now. Like so I guess it kind of like helped me feel like straight, but like I didn't have to do anything about it at the time. And like yeah, so I was like, you should tell him that you like him. And she did. And then I was texting him and he told me that she said that, and I was like, what did you say? And he didn't say anything. And so I was like, oh my god, you what's wrong with you? Ah! You can't be my soulmate if you're gonna treat women like this. So yeah, I was like, you have to say something. Like, what do you mean? You can't just not respond to that. And then so yeah, as an adult later, that was high school, I wasn't an adult. So as an adult, when like I did like have a crush on a boy, I like was trying to like find time to talk to him in person, and it just like kept not happening. And so I was like, I'm just gonna like message him on Instagram. He didn't really use Instagram that often, and he told me that before that, so I wasn't expecting like a response right away. He's like, I check Instagram once a week, so I was like, okay, I'm like sending the message knowing like I might not get a response to this for like a week, and I was okay with that. And then I like went on the next day and I saw it like under his name it said like active yesterday. I was like, oh, that's interesting, because I don't have a response. He didn't. And then like yeah, a week did go by and I didn't get anything, and then like more and more time, and I'm like, okay, yeah. This is just like that time in high school. And I felt like, okay, he's like actually a coward, and I actually like could never be with him, and actually that doesn't mean I'm bisexual. And it wasn't even like the reason I thought I had a crush on him wasn't because like I looked at him and I was like attracted to him, of course. It was like there was one day I went in to where he worked, and like I just like felt like really aware of like his location around me. Like I knew where he was at all times. And then even if I didn't, I remember like walking down, there was like this one like walkway and like a little window, and like you could bear like the window of opportunity for this to happen is like very small, but like I was walking and I saw him like walk right past like the window. Like, and there's other stuff in between, like there's like a vending machine and stuff, and that's why I'm just like, so I was like, okay, as soon as I'm not aware of him, then I like see him like walk by, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? I feel like these are signs. I feel like something's happening. My hair is like extra big today over here. Anyway, yeah, I was just like noticing that, and for some reason that like made me, I was like, is this what attraction feels like? I haven't read the Am I a Lesbian Master Doc in a while, obviously. Should have read it again. Instead I went out and bought the bisexual yarn, told him I had a crush on him, and then didn't hear back. So I was like, okay, cool, moving on. That wasn't real, obviously. Yeah, I would like keep going back on it and like thinking I would like a guy. It's just so much easier, you know, to like not have to like, I don't know, it's so complicated to, not that I've ever been in a lesbian relationship or queer relationship, because it could be with a bisexual woman or pansexual. Anyway, could be all kinds of things. Yeah, but not a man. I've tried that a few times. It doesn't work, even though it seems logically like it would be easy, and it's just like, then I wouldn't like yeah, I came out to my dad before, but then like I came out to him as bisexual. I was like, I know I said I was a lesbian before, I think I might be bisexual. I changed my Instagram bio. I did so much, all for no response. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And you know what the thing is, like, there's actually a girl that I had feelings for that, like, I texted and she wouldn't respond to me either, and that's probably, like, this is, like, triggering, like, that, and I know that, and I texted her, like, every day because she's, like, kind of my boss, but she's also a little younger than me, so the power balance is, like, both sides could be bad, so it's, like, it cancels out, right? So she's younger than me and my boss. I'm texting her, like, every day what time I'm working so that she can, like, enter it in the computer or whatever. And, like, she would probably respond, like, once a week, and it's like, okay, that's just her job, like, whatever. And then, like, I got laid off and I texted her and, like, I used to text her like, jokes, and yeah, she wouldn't respond to them, like, usually, but then I would see her in person and she would come up and talk to me about it, and like I texted her one time and she came up to me and she's like, oh my god, I was pissing myself laughing, like, I was sitting there all day, like, she hasn't responded, like, does she hate me, should I, like, not have said that, blah blah blah. And, like, at the end of the day she came up to me, she's like, oh my god, I got your text, I was pissing myself laughing, you know, like, I was like, oh my god, so, like, I made you wet, like, what, just kidding. So yeah. Then after, like, I got laid off, and so I was like, I texted her a couple times without a response, and I'm like, that's fine, because, like, I kind of expected, like, well, now I'm not gonna, like, see her in person, so maybe she will respond, and she still didn't, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then, like, I saw I was at a coffee shop that I'd been to a bunch of times, because I used to live around there, and then I was, like, back visiting for some reason. Oh my gosh, I'm getting, like, emotional about this, I'm so sad. Anyway, so this is the first time I'd been to this coffee shop since meeting her, I think, and I looked up, like, at the sign when I was driving in, pulling into the parking lot. I looked at the top of the sign for, like, the whole parking lot. It was called, like, and then, like, her name, and I was like, okay, cool, interesting. I see her name, like, all the time. It's cool. I took a trip to Europe and it was just like boom, 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 just constantly. Anyway, yeah, so I saw her name on the, like, sign for the parking lot of the coffee shop. I went inside, there was somebody with a sweatshirt on and it said, like, tell them you love them, and I was like, oh my god, like, and I just saw her name and I'm, like, thinking, like, oh my god, should I, like, call her and, like, tell her that I have feelings for her, because, like, she's not texting me back, and, like, I like, invited, like, not invited necessarily, like, we both have tattoos and we were, like, talking about it. I got this one and then this one shortly after, and we talked about this one, and then, like, I got this one. I was like, oh, did you see my new tattoo? And she was like, yeah, we talked about it. And I was like, yeah, this one? And she's like, no. And I was like, oh my god, so she, like, thought I forgot that we talked, but I didn't. Anyway, yeah, like, she's into me, I know it, but, like, she won't text me back. So there's nothing I can do. That wasn't supposed to be the point of this video, but that's, yeah. I did kind of bring that up yesterday, because, I was talking about, well, the first, like, video that I made like this, like, the reason that I felt so emotional that I, like, had to talk about it was, like, I was watching, Black Mirror. I actually watched Rowan Ellis's video. It's called, like, Unhinged Lesbian Rants About Black Mirror's Queer Conspiracy. And then, so I watched that. I'd seen San Junipero. I hadn't seen Hotel Reverie. She's talking about both of those episodes, because those are the ones with the gays in it. The sapphics. Anyway, I don't know if there's, like, episodes with gay men. Anyway. But yeah, she does have a very interesting conspiracy. I would go check it out if you haven't seen it. So I went and watched the episode that I hadn't seen yet. I cried so much. I was, like, me and this girl worked on, like, a TV set together, and then these two girls, like, in this episode are acting together, like, in a movie, and, like, it reminded me of her, and then, like, it actually doesn't end super well. For, like, one of them does die, but, like, in a, like, she's not really real, I guess. Anyway, so, okay, does she die? Could she die if she wasn't even really alive? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, they're, like, in this simulation, so, like, they're remaking an old movie from the 1950s, and, like, they're keeping everything the same except the lead actor is becoming the new actress. So, like, she gets put in a simulation, and then she meets the lead actress from the role. She meets just like the character, but then she like calls her the name. Anyway, you should just watch it. It made me cry a lot, and I was like, I just need to start talking about this. And then like at the end of the movie, the the like original lead actress from the 1950s movie, she does die. Spoiler alert. Sorry. And then the other actress is taken out of the movie and like back in her life, but they like fell in love in the simulation. Like everything froze except for them, and so they like were in there for months together, like just by themselves falling in love, and then like it reset, and so like they finished the movie. Yeah, and so like she remembers this, and like nobody else like has any idea that it happened, and like she just has this like love that like can never be again. And then I was like, I was like, oh my god, that would be so sad. And then I was like, that kind of feels like me with like the feelings I have for what's her name, because like I just like don't know, like she's just won't text me back, that's all. I don't know why. And so so yeah, there's a scene where she's like driving around like after that, the events of that, she just looks like very like stone faced, like very depressed, and I was like, that feels like me. Like my dad and I took a trip around Europe, and I just felt like so sad because like I wanted this girl, like I said, I kept seeing her name and I just like wanted her to text me back so bad just so I could know like what's happening, like why. Like I thought, anyway, like I was really into her, but like I could be making up that she was into me too, but I thought there was something there. Obviously I was wrong. Or I don't know, I still like feel like one day we're gonna like meet again and like whatever. So yeah, I was really depressed in Europe, and it reminded me of the scene in like she was just like driving in a limo or something, but like just did not look happy. And then at the end there's I don't really remember what exactly was happening. I think I was probably like kind of looking at my phone, but I remember like she presses a button, and then there's like a phone in a screen, like a video on a screen that she's watching of the like actress. It's her audition tape for the movie, and there's a phone next to her, and she's sitting there like, oh, I'm just like waiting for it to ring. And we watched that like earlier in the episode. But then this time it does ring, like because the other actress, Brandy, her name's Brandy Friday, she pushes a button and then the phone in the video rings, and so they pick it up and talk, and I was like, oh my gosh. So then yeah, after I watched that, I did call this girl that like I texted a bunch of times and like she never responded, and then I called her and then yeah, she didn't respond, because one time she told me, oh my gosh, I shouldn't be telling the internet all of this, I have like 7 subscribers, it's fine. So yeah, one time she told me like I was crying because my my other coworker dumped me on Valentine's Day, and then we were doing this like team building exercise at work, and I didn't know that it was gonna happen. Like our boss told us like you guys have a little training thing after work tomorrow. I thought it was gonna be just like my department. I didn't know like other people were gonna be there. So I was like, it's gonna be like 15 minutes. We're just gonna get told like, I don't know, some new information, like a new policy that we're supposed to follow, and then I get to go home. That was not it. It was like the whole team, which like we had a bunch of new people start like the next week, and I was like, why didn't we wait to do the team building exercise until the whole team was here? This is so stupid. The whole thing just like gets on my nerves. Anyway, this was the day that I said like I texted that girl and then she didn't respond, and I was just like freaking out all day. I was like, why won't she respond? And then she told me in person that like I made her pee her pants because it was so funny. So that was fun, but everything else about the day sucked. Not the whole day, just like this like team building exercise. I didn't eat. I was like gonna go home and eat. Like I left my water in the car. I had no idea what was going on. We were like, yeah, basically, I don't need to get into it. Just a lot of feelings happened, and I like at one point I was starting to feel nauseous. I ran outside to like get some air, and then I started crying. And like when I said I felt nauseous, this girl like got up to, she's like, oh, do you need me to get you food? Like I can go get you something. And she's like, so she left, and then I went outside and I was like starting to cry, and then she came back like with the food that she got, and then like I was just like sitting there like crying to her. And then she was like, you can call me whenever. And then like I've never taken her up on that because I don't like really talking on the phone, as I said. And then I like texted her so many times, like 37 times. Oh my god, that's the same number that I said about the teacher. Like I had a crush on a teacher, kind of. It was like a comphet crush. It was just like another like placeholder so like I could feel like straight but not have to do anything about it, because it's like, well, what am I gonna like try to be with this teacher who's married with 5 kids and like ruin his family? No. So like, okay, I'm just gonna have this crush and not have to do anything about it. Great, problem solved. Don't have to think about being gay for a while. Yeah, so why did I bring that up? Talking about that, and then yeah, I don't remember, sorry. I'm just like really emotional right now. Yeah, so this was supposed to be about not like knowing why I didn't like boys, because I've never felt this way about a boy. Like when I'm like, I did have a boyfriend and he convinced me like that he was like, I want to be a power couple. Like he said he wanted to do long distance because we met, like he was going back to school and like working a summer job to like make some money to pay for it, and then we met, and then like I knew that he was gonna go like move to go back to school before we started dating, and I knew that that was gonna be like a thing, and I kind of was like, I probably like shouldn't. Like I'm also gay and like in love with my best friend. She wasn't really my best friend at that point. We became like closer after, but like I dated him and then he broke up with me and then we became closer. So like I guess like at the end of the day I was grateful that like, yeah. I'm like glad that we dated, because otherwise I would have never like gotten whatever. As close to the girl as I did. Yeah, so after we broke up, he broke up with me. He actually told me that he thought we should take a break, and he was like, yeah, I mean like my grades just like aren't doing, I'm not doing that well in school, and I just like, because he was a Spanish major but he didn't speak Spanish like fluently, so he was kind of behind, like struggling to keep up. He was like, I'm like falling behind, my grades aren't that good, I can't just like be in class thinking about you. like, oh my gosh. He's like, I think we should take a break. Like, and I have midterms coming up in 2 weeks. It's just like too much, like I have to study, like there's just too much going on. And so like part of me thought like after 2 weeks, like maybe he would like take his midterms and then his grades would be better, and then like he would want to like get back together. And then so like 2 weeks later I was like, hey, can we talk? And then yeah, I like kind of asked him like where he was at, and then he was like, oh, I thought you knew it was a breakup. And I'm like, well, maybe if you said the words breakup instead of taking a break, I would have known it was a breakup, you dumb asshole. Anyway. But like the thing that I was the most sad about was like I just felt like worthless. Like I'm not the first person to say this, but like we live in a society where like women are taught that our worth depends on how much, like whether or not we can get a man to love us. And so like I'd gone through like, okay, middle school, high school, college, like I couldn't get a boyfriend like all through like that whole time, and I started to think I was ugly. I did get like sexually assaulted a little bit, like it wasn't like super bad like in terms of like the physical thing that happened. He just kind of like, he tried to unbutton my shorts when he thought I was asleep, and I didn't want to like let him know that I was awake, because I thought like he was trying not to wake me up, and then if he knew that I was awake, it was gonna be like, you know, like all bets off, like she already knows I'm trying something, I might as well go for it. So I was like trying to do it like pretend I'm still asleep, and like not really like kind of like fight it off that way. And yeah, he tried to like unbutton my shorts. He couldn't get it though, because it wasn't like a normal button. It was kind of like there's like a metal bar and then like a clasp, and so it was like, and then a button like on the inside. So like he didn't know he didn't know about women's fashion, and so he was like struggling with that for a while, and I was kind of like just like, okay, nothing's happening really, so just like keep pretending to be asleep. And then he like went for the zipper and tried to stick his hand in, and then like I like pulled up my legs like I was having like a bad dream, kind of like, oh gosh, like, and then he moved his hand away, and so like that was it. But like the effects of it were still like pretty bad, like they were pretty intense. I was really depressed for like 2 years. I did read Rupi Kaur's Milk and Honey, which she has gotten some critiques for being like racist, I guess. I don't know if I totally understand them. If I do, I don't agree with them necessarily, but I could be wrong. I don't know. But I got a tattoo from, this is just like one of the poems in that just like really resonated with me. It was like just because he recognized your fire doesn't mean he was the one who lit the spark or something. And so like that was like, oh my god, like I felt like, yeah, this was like the closest I'd gotten to like getting a boyfriend. And then like, and my friend told me like a month before that, she's like, oh, he kissed me and like I like him and then blah 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 blah. And so I was like, oh, I didn't know about that. So like, okay, maybe I'm wrong about it. Like I could tell that he liked me, but then I thought I was wrong about him liking me because he kissed my friend and like he like didn't kiss me. And I guess like he kissed her, and then like later like they had kind of a party at their house, and so like she went, they kissed, she left, and then like I got off work at like 9 o'clock at night, so then I showed up later after she left already, and I didn't know that she had been there and that they kissed. So that was kind of weird. And then yeah, we spent like he went to bed, like he was sleeping, and I was like kind of there for him, and so I was like, this kind of sucks, I'm here like I don't really know anyone, but I still, there's another guy's girlfriend was there, I guess not another because I wasn't his girlfriend, but like I thought I might be soon. Another guy's girlfriend was there, and so we were like hanging out, and so I was like, whatever, I'll just like stay. And then in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m, he woke up and like he went to get water, and then like 3 of us were talking, and then like one guy, the third guy, went to bed, and there's another guy who had passed out like really early, like 8 p.m, who had like woken up now because he'd gotten his like full 8 hours of sleep basically. So he woke up, and then like the 3 of us were talking again, so like we're basically up talking all night. And so like I think it's kind of my fault that he stopped talking to her after kissing her. And then but then she told me that like a week before like Memorial Day. So yeah, like most of the people that we hung out with like went home for the weekend, but like we both lived kind of like down south pretty far, so it was like not really worth it to go home for a 3-day weekend. So yeah, we were like pretty much the only two there. There's one more person who like didn't live with him but like would spend the day at their house because like his roommates didn't like the smell of you know what. They were basically always wedding. So yeah, it was like just the 2 of us there. And so yeah, that was another thing. We usually hung out with more people, and so like this was like the first time that we were alone, but like my friend had just said that like he kissed her, and that she told me she liked him, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was really upset about it for like 2 days. I remember I had this econ class. It was like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and she told me on a Sunday. I was like really sad about it. I was watching Jane the Virgin, like imagining like me as Jane and this guy is like Raphael Solano, which is like so funny in retrospect. I'm like, oh my god, he was not a Raphael. Anyway, yeah, and I like was texting my friend about it, and then she told me that he kissed her and that she liked him, and I went and got ice cream. I'm like, I'm so sad about this, but it was like very performative. Like I was like, I feel like I should be sad. I feel like I should be like eating ice cream about this. And then like I went to my econ class Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even pay attention. I just can't stop thinking about these two people kissing, and like it just like it's so upsetting. I'm just you know, so sad. And then Wednesday I was sitting there like, remember 2 days ago when I was like really upset about like these two people, like my friends, like getting in a relationship, like potentially maybe, like I don't care. Like I just did not care. Like 2 days later, like I was not upset anymore. And so I was like fully down. I was like, yeah, I'll help my friend. Like she asked me to help talk to him about her, like talk her up. And so I'm like, yeah, I can do that. But then like then Memorial Day weekend happened. She went home for the weekend. So it was like, okay, well, like she's not here to hang out with us. Anyway, a lot of stuff could have been avoided. But anyway, so yeah. So that was upsetting just because I felt like the sexual assault was upsetting, not because like I liked this guy and like he like changed or whatever. That kind of was it. Like I felt like, oh, I thought we were at least friends. I thought he at least like cared about me enough to like not sexually assault me, you know. Like whoops, misinterpreted that, I guess. But yeah, it was kind of like I felt worthless. I felt like ugly. Like I wasn't worth like kissing. I wasn't worth like somebody asking me out. I was just like someone try to grab him by the pussy, I guess. It was not a fun situation. But anyway, sorry, this is like darker than I expected it to be. But yeah, so okay, basically a combination. Let's compile what we've figured so far. So comphet crushes on unavailable men, on gay men, like married teachers, celebrities that like I'm actually not attracted to, and I know that I don't want to lick their abs, and so it's like, what's going on there? And yeah, like okay, I know there's like an association of like traumatized women, like people think lesbians are just like women who have been traumatized by men, and so they're like, you know, like they're like, I don't want to be with men anymore, I want to be with a woman, it's too much. Like I do feel like I put myself in this situation to be traumatized because I was gay, and I was like I didn't recognize that like I didn't actually like this guy, and like a lot of the things that he said like when we were texting before that like made me uncomfortable, and I just like, yeah, that's part of the Am I Lesbian Master Doc is like, I don't think I didn't read that until after college, so I wouldn't have read it by this point. So it was like there's this association with like attraction and like unease. Like if you feel like nauseous or like anxious around a boy, it's like, oh, that means you like him, you know? And it doesn't. It's like, and so he would say things that made me uncomfortable, and like I guess I would take that as like, oh my gosh, like this is like we're flirting or whatever. I don't know. Like, oh gosh. Yeah, and I like there were things he said that I was like, oh my god, like I can't believe he just said that. And like then I would ask him about it, and he was like, oh, I don't remember saying that. And I was like, okay, maybe I misheard it. Like I would like kind of gaslighting myself, I guess, or like I don't know, that's on him, he lied. But yeah, I just like kept convincing myself like, oh, this is fine. And like when I had a boyfriend, and I was like he said something about Ben Shapiro, like liking Ben Shapiro, and he would say, oh, there's only two genders, and I thought he was joking. And then like one day he was like, oh, like yeah, I actually believe that, and like my brothers and I like we watched Ben Shapiro videos and like laugh at him, and I was like still not totally sure, like I don't know, I was pretty sure he was joking about the two gender thing, and then like if he's only watching Ben Shapiro to like laugh at him, it's like I don't know. I felt like I couldn't, like, these things bothered me, but I felt like I wasn't allowed to like break up with him just because he's like saying things that I don't like. Like, I don't know like what it would have taken for me to break up with him, because I like, he was my first boyfriend and I felt like so validated, like finally, like after year, like I was 24, almost 25, and I felt like if I turned 25 without like kissing somebody or like having someone ask me out, like, oh my god, like I'm just like an old hag, like there's nothing left for me anymore, you know? And it was like really upsetting to me, like I just felt very ugly. And then I would like I'd be like, at least like the sexual assault, like that must mean I'm pretty. He wouldn't have done that if I wasn't like pretty, right? Like and then there was another guy that I worked with that like one day we were like, I was walking out to my car after we were closing, and he was like asking him, he was kind of like inviting himself to like hang out. He's like, oh, do you want to go, or he was inviting me, he's like, do you want to go like drink somewhere? And I was like, I don't really drink. Like I kept saying no, and he just kept asking more questions, like, he's like, do you want to go drink? Do you want to go like to the bar? We can get a shot of tequila. I'm like, I don't really drink. He's like, we can go to the liquor store or the gas station right here and get like some beer. I'm like, I don't like beer. He's like he just kept asking, and so like eventually I was like, whatever, sure, like let's just, like I was trying to go home, but like also I didn't like going home because my mom would yell at me a lot, and so I was like, I guess I'll like delay going home for a little bit and see. So this guy and I went to the gas station. I got like little wine coolers and he got beer, and then we were just like sitting in his car. Like we drove to his place. He has one of those 2-car garages where it's like in front of them, like not next to each other. You have to like pull out one car to get the other one in. And then, so like I got out of the car, he like switched them, and then he cleaned out like the back seat of his car, and then we just went and sat in the back seat of his car. I'm like, why'd we drive all the way to your place if we're just gonna like sit in the back of your car? Like that's so weird. And so we were just sitting in there drinking, and then like he tried to kiss me, and I said like I didn't want to kiss him. I also had these earrings on that were like, they had the like the front, and then the backing was like a big ball that had like a flower in it. And he like touched my face, like he was trying to kiss me, and he had like his hand here, and he knocked out my earring, and it fell like on my crotch, and I didn't notice it. And he went to like pick it up for me, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then he was like, I was like, oh my god. Anyway, and like I almost started crying. I was like he was like, I know you like me, like, and I was like, no, like stop, like I said no. He like, yeah, he eventually did, and then he drove me back to my car, and then I left, and then it was like really annoying to have to work with him after that. Like he wouldn't do what I asked him. Like he was a cook and I was like a food runner, so I'd have to ask like, hey, can I get like a side of fries or something? And he would just like kind of ignore me. And like, yeah, it was just really annoying to work with him after that. I was like, what the heck? And I think he had a girlfriend like while that happened, which is like probably why we didn't go inside. But like, yeah, he would be on the phone at work and like kind of sound like he was arguing with someone. I think it was a long time ago, I don't really remember. And then like that happened before, like I would see him do that, like arguing on the phone, and then like the time that he tried to kiss me, and then like after I would like see him arguing on the phone still, like it was the same. And then someone's like, oh, I think he's like arguing with his girlfriend or whatever, and I'm like, is that his girlfriend? Like, do you know? Is that 100%? Because like he tried to kiss me. It was really weird. Yeah, it's not a good situation. But like, yeah, I just keep getting in these situations where like guys, I don't know. Oh, I didn't really get that much into this other story either in high school. It was like a week before my birthday in 10th grade. I had I was pretty sure me and this one guy that didn't drink or do drugs or swear, but he was my soulmate, but I knew that he didn't really like me. In like 9th grade, there was this 11th grader who like we kind of talked sometimes. I think like he wouldn't go to class, like he'd come in for like first period, and I'm like, don't you have class? And he like wouldn't go to class, and I'd be like, do you need someone to like walk you? Like why won't you go to class? Just go to class. And I think like in retrospect, I'm like, maybe he had a crush on me and like he wanted me to walk him to class, but like that's why he wouldn't go. But like I was just like, I want him to go to class, I want him to get good grades. Like I didn't think of it like, oh, this is so romantic, we're like I'm walking him to class. I'm like, I want him to go to class. Like there's nothing like romantic about it to me. And then like I guess he had a crush on me because yeah, like it was the beginning of the year, like, but we didn't spend that much time together. Like he was more friends with my other friend, and like I didn't spend that much time with him or like talk to him that much outside of like, that's the only thing I even remember. And this is like in retrospect, I'm like, why did he even like think anything? I don't know. But so I guess he liked me. He told our mutual friend that like we were both close to, and like she could drive, or I think he had a car and she had like an off-campus pass or like an open class, so she could like go off campus and they would get food and stuff, but like I couldn't because I had class. So that's how they like got close. But yeah, I guess one day like she asked me if I liked him, and I think I said yes because I didn't want her to know that I had feelings for the other guy, because I knew like deep down that he didn't like me, and I thought that would be embarrassing if people knew that I liked him and he didn't like me. So I was like, she's like, oh, do you like this other guy? And I said yes. And she was like, really? And I was like, what do you mean really? Like a lot or like actually? Because like I didn't actually like him. So when she said really, I'm like, no. Like, what do you mean like a lot? And yeah, I think I said yes to both, which is like, oh my god, that's dramatic. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. But I did. And yeah, so he asked me out at school, but it was okay. I knew that it was coming because I told her, and then she's like, oh, I told him that you like him, he's gonna ask you out. And so I was like, it was the next morning at school, it was a Friday morning. And at my school we have like, the teachers have meetings on Friday mornings, so like every Friday we would start later, and then like the last Friday of the month we start like even later. Like they would have a longer meeting the last Friday, and so we wouldn't start at school till like 11 or something. And then my band teacher was like, I'm gonna use this opportunity to have you all come in same time you would normally come in for school, and we're just gonna do band practice because you would normally just be at school anyway. So we didn't get late Fridays all like during marching band season anyway. Yeah, I was in marching band, I was such a nerd anyway. It's fine. Yeah, so we were there early, and then but they still have to, there's like still a first period, so like some people, like we couldn't go all the way till like second period, which is like when most people would start. Like our school is really silly, like we had first period, most people didn't have a first period, so like most people would start with second period, and it's like, why? My middle school, we had class A, B, C, D, so it's A, B, then recess, or they called it brunch, C, D, lunch, E, F, then on Tuesday we start with class B, B, C, brunch, D, E, lunch, and then like F, A, and then Wednesday we start with class C, and it was just, every day was different. It was so weird. Anyway, yeah, so I knew this guy was gonna ask me out. The drumline, he was in drumline. I was, like I said, a clarinet player. I was trying to hide from him because I like didn't want it to happen. I was in a room with like the guy that I thought was my soulmate, and just like I was sitting there like so like anxious, and like there were two other people in there, and nobody like knew what was going on. I was just sitting there like stressed out. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and I didn't say anything. I wasn't like, Andrew's gonna ask me out, and like I think I told myself that like if this other guy didn't ask me out first, then I would say yes. But like we had gone to the mall like with the guy that I thought was my soulmate, and like our group of friends, we went to the mall like a week before. I talked about this date before, but like yeah, so we went to the mall, we had like a good time. I remember him making me laugh a lot. And then like the next week was like my date with this guy, and we went to the movies and he fell asleep, and it was like, okay, I'm just gonna like really get into it because okay. So he messaged me on MySpace, and he was like, do you want to go see a movie? And I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. And then like I think I asked my dad hoping he would say no, I'm not allowed to go, but he said I could. And so I was like, okay, yeah. And then he was like, what do you want to see? And I gave him like 3 options. Like I looked it up and I was like, these 3 seem good. Which one do you want to see? He's like, you pick. And I was like, what do you like? I just picked from all of the movies and I gave you these 3 options. And so now like, why don't you pick from these 3 which one you want to see the most so that we both have a good time, right? We both get to do something we want to do, and don't just make me pick. I don't know what you like. So then I narrowed it down to 2 again, and then he's like, you pick, like just pick one. And I was like, why don't you want to join me in this decision? Like, anyway, so I felt uncomfortable. I was like, I don't want to pick something that like he doesn't like. So I finally picked, it was Ponyo. We went to see Ponyo. He fell asleep. He was holding my hand, so we were sitting like, he was here, like I had my hand here, his hand was like on top like this. Okay, yeah. And he fell asleep and his hand fell, like his hand was still there, and so my hand fell asleep like under his, and I wanted to move it, but it was like kind of hard. I couldn't really get it, and I didn't want to wake him up, and like I don't know, I was just kind of glad like to like in a way like wasn't on a date with him at the time, and I'm like, okay, this is like better, I guess. Like I kind of feel bad, but like I just like didn't want to be on a date with him, and like I didn't know what to do about it because I already said that I liked him, and I already like, he asked me out and I said sure. Oh, I didn't say yet. Okay, so okay, I was sitting in this room, and like, okay, the tallest guy, like I was sitting with the guy that I thought was my soulmate, like hiding, and like we have these practice rooms. So there's the band room, then there's like that's where everyone mostly was hanging out, and then like there's the hallway, and there's these like practice rooms. Like one of them has a little piano, but like they're just little small rooms that are like kind of soundproofed so that you can practice without like, if you're embarrassed that you're gonna sound bad or something, you don't have to like worry about it because it's soundproof. So we were in one with like the piano, and there's like the tallest guy. He's like over 6, like probably 6.5 feet tall. He comes walking and he's like towering in the window. So like obviously there's a door, there's like the big window next to it. He's like just towering over it. He looks at me. He's like, come here, whatever. Oh my gosh, that GIF. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, the one on Tumblr. Yeah, so okay, unrelated. The GIF on Tumblr doesn't matter. So yeah, this guy's just like towering there, and I'm like, oh god. So he points at me, and I just get up and go, and my friends are like, what are you doing? Like, and I don't say anything to them. I'm just like, oh my god, I just have to get this over with, okay? And so I follow like the tallest man in the world back into the band room, and the guy who likes me is sitting down on a chair, and he's duct taped down to this chair, and there's an empty chair opposite him, and the tall guy's like, he just gestures over, like he's a quiet, silent type. He just, yeah, he's like, all right. And so he sits me down, or like I sit down across from him. He's duct taped to the chair. The rest of the drum line is standing there watching. It's not just the tall guy, like the whole like drum line's there, and he's duct taped, and I'm just like, he's like, do you want to go out with me? And I'm like, sure. I said sure. If you ask a girl out and she says sure, don't just be like, okay, we don't have to, actually, just never mind, sorry, I don't want to bother you, my bad, you know, like, just, she doesn't want to go out with you. If she says sure, just don't go. You want to yes, you want to hear a yes when you ask a girl out, or a boy, I guess. If you want to date boys, you can do that, or other genders too. Whoever you're asking out, you want them to say yes. You don't want them to say sure. So that was the beginning of the day. We walked around the school like holding hands. Also, I guess I should not point out, but like it's kind of relevant. He's black, and I'm very pale white. So we were walking around, people were saying we were like yin and yang. People he walked me to class and people were following, and I guess I gave him a hug and went and sat down, and then other kids came, and like the guy who sits in front of me was also in band, and he like sat down and was like, why didn't you kiss him? And I was like, oh my god. So like people were following us and like watching us to see, and I was like, oh my god, this is horrible. Like I was not happy about like I wanted a boyfriend so badly, but like now that it was like possible, like could happen, I just like was not happy about any of it. And like, yeah. So okay, yeah, we went to the movies. He picked me up, I should say. I didn't mention this before. He picked me up. We were driving to he drove to the theater, not like we were, obviously, you know how driving works. Hopefully. Okay. So he picked me up, he was driving, he was very quiet on the way to the theater, and I just felt like the burden of conversation was like pretty much solely on me. I was kind of just rambling. I started talking about like Doctor Who. I don't know if he'd seen it. I think I was like describing an episode of Doctor Who to him because I was like, I don't know what to talk about. Like I don't really remember being like close to him. I don't know, like the other guy who asked me out, I do remember like we were like close and we would like talk and laugh and like arm wrestle and stuff. Like I don't remember like I don't know why this guy liked me, but yeah, so we saw the movie. He fell asleep. Then we, after it was over, we went to the food court and got like Sbarro pizza, and we were sitting there and he asked me, he's like, oh, what's your middle name? And I said Julia, and that's, yeah, Lauren Julia. I changed my username, by the way. It was my first and last name, and I thought that was like kind of intense for the internet. Like who knows, especially if I'm talking about like gay stuff, you never know who's gonna be upset about that. So it's my first and middle name, and then my other accounts, my music is Julia Emily Music. That's like my middle name, and then my grandma's name, and then my astrology is Julia Astrology. So I'm using my middle name, so it's like kind of, so they're all the accounts are like kind of connected, you know? Okay, anyway, so he asked me my middle name. I said Julia, and then I didn't ask him, and after a second, like I thought he was just gonna be like, oh, okay, cool, mine's whatever, Michael. I don't know. But he didn't, and then after a couple seconds I was like, oh, he's not going to. Should I ask now? It seems a little late now. I don't know. I'm just not gonna say anything. So I didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. Nothing else was said. We got up. We walked around the top floor of the mall. We have a very small mall. People always like complain about how small our mall is. I was grateful for that day. Yeah, we walked around the whole top floor. We didn't go in a single store. We walked around the whole bottom floor. We didn't go in a single store. I remember I had my drink from Sbarro. He was walking on this side and I was holding it in this hand, because I didn't want him to like hold my hand. I was like, I'm gonna hold my drink over here. And I just like, I was like, I don't know what else to talk about. And we were walking around and I kept seeing like some stores would remind me of like when I was there with the guy that I thought was my soulmate like the week before. Like I remember we passed, there's a store called like Motherhood for like maternity clothes, and I remember he was like, we passed that and my soulmate was like pretending to be pregnant and like walking around. He's like, I need to go to Motherhood, you know, just pretending to be a pregnant woman. I thought that was hilarious. And then so we would like walk by and I'd see like a store that like reminded me of my soulmate, and just be like, God, like I wish I was here with him instead. But like, I don't know. Yeah, if I was there like on a date with him, like it still wouldn't have been like, you know, good, because he's gay and I'm a lesbian. So it would have been really weird probably, but like, I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, having crushes on boys that like definitely don't like me was like the saving factor, like how I was able to go so long without realizing that I was gay, because it was like, no, I like a boy. No, I know I haven't like dated a boy, but I have crushes on boys, but it was like not real. That was my cat, if you heard him. Meow. He might come in here. I'm almost at an hour, so I think I'm gonna wrap up. Come here. Okay. I guess not. He just wants to like rub his face on my feet. He's a little weirdo. Yeah, so we're almost at an hour, and I just talked so much about an unrequited crush that I have, and how much I was embarrassed by people knowing that I had a crush on someone who didn't like me in high school. So this has just been such a good video, hasn't it? Yeah, tune in next time for more embarrassing facts about me. Am I done with that date? No. Okay, let me just finish this date. I know we're at an hour, but meow. So come here, little buddy. He's coming. Okay. You can see his head there. Why don't you want to come up? There we go. Okay, so yeah, we were walking around, and I would keep thinking of this other guy that like was like, I'd prefer to be here with him, you know, because he was making me laugh. But I still like wasn't attracted to him either. But that's not the point. So after we left, he was like driving me home, and it was like complete silent. I wasn't taking up the burden of conversation this time. I was like, I'm just gonna be quiet and like we're like maybe 5 minutes from my house, and like he suddenly like said something. I was like, what? He asked me if I knew this band that like if I had to guess now, I could not tell you the name. I feel like it had the word cuttlefish in it. I think it was a ska band. Yeah, all the band kids were like really into ska. Not all, obviously. It's not a monolith. A lot of the like the brass players and like drum line were really into ska. Oh my gosh, don't mess with my camera. Okay. Whew. So yeah, it was a ska band. He's like, have you heard of whatever band? And I was like, no. And that was it. He wasn't like, oh, they're playing later today. Oh my gosh, sorry. Which, yeah, I found out later, like on looking at MySpace probably, or Facebook maybe. Like, I saw pictures of like him and the other drumline kids, like they were tagged in it, and they were at a concert with the name that he had said in the car, and I was like, oh, okay, that's why he brought that up. But yeah, he just asked me like, do you know this band? And I said no, and that was it. And then he dropped me off, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope he doesn't expect me to kiss him. And I just like got out of his car as fast as I could and ran inside. And I was like, oh my gosh, there it was, my first date. First date. Wow. Good stuff. Yeah, so I guess now that that's over, well, I'll finish up, I guess, by saying that like, that was Saturday, and then so Sunday I don't think we talked, and then Monday at school, I told him like, yeah, that was really awkward. I don't think we should keep seeing each other. And he started dating one of my friends, a trombone player, shortly after. I was like, okay, at least I didn't like ruin him forever, right? You know? Okay, great stuff. I think that's it, and I'm just gonna post this, no editing or anything. So thanks for watching. If you want to check out my other channels, Julia Emily Music or Julia Astrology, and then at some point I want to make a crochet channel too, and I'm trying to think of a name. I think I might just do Julia Emily Crochet. I kind of want to do like crochet with like an emphasis on like using like recycled or like sustainable, like recycled yarn, sustainable products, or like upcycling kind of like. So I thought of like the name Planet Hook, but I don't know if I love it. So let me know if you have any ideas, questions, comments, concerns. I don't know, leave a comment if you feel so called. Like, subscribe. I don't know, I like saying, I don't want to ask people to subscribe, but I do like when someone does it, like the little subscribe button kind of like glows. I'm like, oh, that's fun. So look at the subscribe button glowing while I say the word subscribe. Okay, I've been talking long enough. Bye.